Hi everyone.
Hey.
Welcome to the next episode of Web Analytics TV.
Yep.
My name is Avinash.
And I'm Nick.
And we're going to go through your exciting questions from our moderator page. We've got a really good clump of questions this time around, Nick.
Yeah.
And the very first one is challenging and thrown at you.
Okay.
And it's from Cesar Brie from Dover, and he is asking, I'm trying to create target towns reports using advanced segments, but getting the towns into the report requires a different logical structure than this capability seems to support. So how can he create a bunch of towns rather than in advanced segmentation in Google Analytics?
Right, that's a great question. There's actually a link in the question. The link points to a support question. So apparently in Wikipedia there's a list of cities and towns that have a household income over a certain range.
Ooh.
Right, so what we want to find out is, give me this group of cities, maybe about 50 or 70 plus cities that have a high household income. So in advanced segments, there's a couple ways to define them. One way is, for example, let's say San Francisco was in that list and you want to include it. You can say San Francisco for the expression to match San Francisco exactly, and then click plus or, and then say for the regular expression, for the advanced segment to match San Jose,
right,
or another city, or another city. So you can do each city individually.
Right.
So the challenge with that is that you have to create 70 of them, and it becomes really challenging. So what you can do is, instead of using actual ors, you can use a regular expression.
Oh, I see.
And regular expressions allow you to actually put or in the expression yourself using a pipe symbol. That's the vertical line. So you can say match a regular expression where you say San Francisco pipe San Jose. And you can put a bunch of those together, and so you can maybe have 10 cities on one expression, or another 10 cities, or another 10 cities. So you can get a whole bunch of cities together in this one advanced segment.
Right, so I would still drag town over, then I would say matches regular expression.
Right.
And then I can just put it all in one box, essentially.
Right.
And typically, I think the way I end up doing is I just create it in Notepad.
Exactly.
I just type it out in a Notepad, and then copy that and paste it into my Google Analytics advanced segmentation, and it works fine.
Absolutely. And since this is actually a link from our group, whoever does create it in Notepad, paste the actual expression in there so everybody else can get it.
There you go. Perfect.
Great. So a question for you, Avinash. The index, this one is actually from Tambu in Genoa, Italy.
Oh, I know him. He's a good guy.
All
Hi,
right.
Tambu.
So index, $ index currently uses monetary incomes from goal value and e-com revenue to determine a per page value.
Right.
It's a per session calculation. If I link my AdSense accounts, are these incomes added in calculation even if they are per page?
Oh, actually, it's not. And so what you're noticing, when you have both AdSense revenue as well as you've set goals with particular goal values, then what you see in dollar index are just those e-commerce revenue / goal values that you've put in there. The AdSense revenue part is not there. It's happening sort of outside the ecosystem, not within Google Analytics itself. So that is kept outside Tambu. So feel free to use it aggressively to promote your website.
Great. All right.
Here's a good one for you, Nick, from Mohsin in Pakistan. We're going really
international today. Yeah, this is good.
How do I track affiliates through Google Analytics? I have an affiliate software installed in a separate directory / affiliate, but I would like to know best practice of managing it in Google Analytics. This is not that hard.
Right. So for affiliates, what they're saying is somebody will pay you for links that point to your site and they generate a lead or make a transaction. So you just want to measure the different links that people send to you. So you can do that using campaign tracking. There's a set of parameters for each link that points to your site. So what you can ask your affiliates is to use these campaign parameters in their campaigns to send you traffic that you're paying for. And when somebody clicks on those links, in Google Analytics will interpret those parameters, and you'll see campaign reports, the source, and the medium.
I see.
So you can set the medium up as affiliate, and the source as the name of the affiliate. And then in the reports, you can actually say, of all my traffic, show me total traffic from affiliates, and then broken out by the actual ones that you're working with.
Exactly. So basically, simply by leveraging existing Google Analytics campaign reporting infrastructure, it's very easy to report affiliates.
Absolutely.
Okay. We can link to an article about how to use our campaign tracking.
Definitely.
Yeah. Good.
Great. So here's a question for you from Hazan in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh, this is my buddy Jim. Hi, Jim.
So is there any way to utilize events as goals? For example, let's say the objective of a campaign or site is to generate a download of a PDF, so lead gen, white paper. Besides using virtual page views, is there a way to use the event of downloading a PDF as the goal in Google Analytics?
Yeah, so Jim, you can't actually use events as goal yet in Google Analytics. And what I end up doing is simply leverage the advanced segmentation methodology and apply do that to the event. So in this case, actually, I have done this in my latest blog post on customer lifetime value.
Okay.
I have an Excel spreadsheet that's included to allow people to compute lifetime value easily. And in that spreadsheet, what I have set up is something akin to category is downloads. So in my event tracking, category is downloads. And then activity is the customer lifecycle value.xls.
The file
name. So now, Jim, I can go back, and I've learned this from Nick, of course. I can actually go back and either create an advanced segment that just tracks the download events, so I can easily quickly get my number of conversions, if you will, or I can then drill down further and say how many of those downloads were my customer value lifecycle spreadsheet. So that's a very easy way. So while it's not in the goal area, but you still have this available, just leverage event tracking. In fact, event tracking, you might even have a more scalable way of doing this than simply being able to track a one-off. So give it a try, Jim.
Definitely.
All right.
So here's another very similar question for you, Avinash. This is from Ohio, from Ilbit. How can you tie a video to a conversion? For example, a user watched a video and then converted.
This is a great example because in my book Web Analytics 2.0 you'll see the event tracking described in video tracking, and that example comes from Nick. Actually, Nick helped me create the spreadsheet that you'll see in the book, and essentially all we've done as well in this case is used advanced segmentation to do the reporting, and what you'll see is we've set the category. In terms of event tracking, you get 3 different buckets, if you will, of data that have a hierarchical relationship. So I've set up category as video, I've set action as the name of the video itself, and the label as the % of the video watched. So I can go in and see how many people, let's say if we did it for Web Analytics TV, we could see overall how many people have watched the video, and by episode actually we can see if people watched a complete video of each episode of Web Analytics TV, or they abandoned after 2 minutes. I hope not, but we can actually use that. So use advanced segmentation and use event tracking, and you're all set. So the next one's from Bibi. I know all these people. This is great. Hi, Bibi. Bibi's in Vermont. Yeah. And she asks, what is the best way to measure embedded Flash with GA? Ooh, tricky question.
It's a tricky question.
Yes.
So for people who don't really know Flash that well, you can take Flash, let's say a widget, a new game, and you can have people embedded in Facebook, in MySpace, and different places around the web. So I think what you're asking is, to track Flash itself, you can use events to track interactions.
Of course.
But I think the real question here is, how do I track interaction by site placement? So can I compare the number of interactions on Facebook versus MySpace? One of the tricky things with Flash is, again, it's a very rich language, but there's a lot of security concerns. And so the way Adobe built it is that the person who's hosting, the person who allows you to embed the Flash on their site, MySpace, can disallow the Flash from communicating with the page that's MySpace.
Oh, I see.
So it's a security sandbox that they've created. Some sites allow you to do the communication, but other sites don't allow you to do the communication. So the challenge is for the Flash to know actually which site it was embedded on. So using our Flash tracking, by default, if we have access to this property of where the site is, we'll report on it, and if not, we'll just say it's not set. One way to work around it is if you can embed your Flash in an iframe. The iframe will respect the same browser properties.
Correct.
The referral in the iframe will be the actual pages loaded on. So let's say you're loading iframe from site A. In MySpace, the referral in the iframe will be for the page. Will be in that iframe will be myspace.com. So you can get actually the site you've embedded your iframe on through the referral, and then because you actually host the iframe, you can actually reduce the restrictions on how Flash communicates with the iframe to actually get the tracking to work properly. So that's one option that you can do.
Yeah, so actually 2 options, I think. One is that if you use embedded Flash and use event tracking, and the site allows you the communication to happen, then of course you'll get the data, and that comes through fine. But in case it turns out that the site has set permissions in a way for Flash, it won't communicate to the site. Then the second option
Right.
is to use the iframe
Right.
one, and that works.
And just to be clear, when we talk about tracking Flash, we actually have a library that we work with Adobe to build that allows you to natively track Flash. So we handle all the cookies in the library and everything.
Perfect.
You build it into your actual widget and you make it run. And that's what we're talking about here.
Good, good. And we'll link to some articles that
Information
helps.
about
Okay.
it, yeah, definitely.
That's great. Thanks, Nick.
Great. So next question for you, and this is from Stebo in Brighton, UK. Again, we're going international. I'm investigating how to combine my company's Google Analytics and Urchin data
Oh, goodness.
with the goal of linking this data to our non-web data via customer order IDs. What possible issues do I need to be aware of when trying to combine these three data sources?
I feel sad for Stibble.
Uh-oh.
No, I mean, I have firmly believed and consistently preached that when it comes to web analytics tools, you should practice monogamy and not bigamy.
Oh, wow.
Having one tool is hard enough, and to get one to work right is hard enough. Getting two to work correctly is really impossible. So first advice for Stibbo is, if you can, pick one. So pick Urchin because you want to have a hosted in-house environment. You want to have everything in your end. You don't want to send the data into the cloud. That's a good reason to use Urchin. Use it. If you're okay with having data in the cloud, just like every other web analytics tool, then use Google Analytics. But pick one, please. It's really hard to make both of them work correctly. Or it's very hard to make Omniture and Google Analytics work correctly, or any of the others. So pick one tool. Now let's discuss the second part, which is actually important, which is what is the issue if you take the web analytics tool data out and then merge it with other sources of data inside your company. Specifically, he mentions customer order IDs. And the order IDs is fine, actually, Stebo, because there's not a PII connected to it. Order IDs, 1, 2, 3, 4 garbage,
Right,
whatever
right.
it is. The only thing you should be cautious about when you're using Google Analytics is that the TOS prohibits you from collecting any PII data and sending it over to Google or into Google Analytics. One of the reasons people end up using Urchin as an example. So you cannot collect any PII data. You can collect non-PII data. You can extract it through the API, which is an effort Nick leads here. And then once it's out of the system, you can sort of merge in all that stuff in your data warehousing environment over there. But be very careful and cautious when it comes to PII data, personally identifiable information, and it being sent into Google Analytics, because that is prohibited. And things that fall into PII are email addresses, names, underwear size,
Credit card numbers. Yeah.
any of those things are PII. So be careful about collecting that with GA and then sort of post-merging and things like that. Other than that, I think you're fine.
Great. So here's another question for you, Avinash.
Yes.
So how do you feel about Google providing a feature to opt out from being tracked?
Oh yes, so this is a blog post that the team had written a month ago, I believe, and just saying that we're working on a feature that would allow this to have happened. At the moment, we don't have any more information than what is available in the blog post. I mean, Google as a company believes in having users having choices. As we learn more, we're going to make sure that we share it with you. So keep an eye on our blog, and perhaps will address it in a future episode of Analytics TV. But at the moment, we simply don't have enough information to share with you for now. The next question, Nick, is for you. Another nice, tricky one. And it's from, let's see, from Gunpreet in India. And it asks how to make a custom report with top landing pages, the page titles for each of them, and the unique visitors to them. I cannot figure out how to display page titles on this report. I want to do this because my URLs are not descriptive. That's a good one, yeah.
It is. There's actually some subtleties in here. So you can create a custom report with the page, and then in the actual custom report builder, you can add multiple dimensions to your report. If you look at the UI, it's kind of slightly down to the right a little bit. And you add another dimension. When you actually generate the report, you'll see all the page titles with all your metrics. You click on the dimension, and it drills into all the page titles for that.
Yes.
So you can use the page, and then you can get the page title, and then you can get that report. The one thing to keep in mind is that the relationship between page URLs and titles is not necessarily one-to-one.
Yes.
It's one-to-n. So what you'll find is when you click on a page, you'll see many titles usually for that page.
Yeah, so you have to be cautious. I mean, one of the most important thing is that your website has to have clean page titles.
Right.
And sometimes we often see that developers end up using the same page title on multiple pages, and then that's why you have to be very careful about it. But you can follow the custom reporting methodology that Nick's highlighted, and it works just fine.
Works really good.
Okay, that's great.
Great. So, question for you, Avinash. This is from Visitor in Charleston. How to break down non-paid search engine visits that come to our site via specific buckets of landing pages. For example, we just added zip code landing pages for a site. Each zip code page ends in zip.aspx. And so the goal of this is how do we measure impact of new pages?
Actually, this is a good one. I mean, it's slightly non-obvious, but he used one of the features I am very, very fond of in Google Analytics. And essentially, the first thing you want to be doing is actually make sure that you've created a segment for your non-organic and paid traffic. It's very easy to do. Just go into advanced segmentation and create a segment for your organic search traffic for all search engines or only for Google. Save it. Now go back to the landing pages report. There's a dedicated report for the top landing page. You'll find it on the left nav in content, content top landing pages. Right. And then what you want to be doing is 2 steps. The first step is on that particular standard report in Google Analytics, you want to go up top right and choose your organic search segment. Step number 1. And you apply it. And now what you're looking at is the top landing pages, all the top landing pages for search only, organic. Second thing you want to be doing is at the bottom of the table, you will notice a very thin strip that has a number of links for allowing you to filter or go to the next page and all that stuff at the bottom. And you'll see a link called advanced filtering. And I love this feature. Because what it allows you to do is the pool of data you've collected in the report, it allows you to do what I call inline filtering. So click on that link and it will open a little box at the bottom allowing you to filter for anything you see in the report. In this case, you're going to choose the landing page name, and add a condition, matches exactly, contains, starts with, ends, or whatever, and say zip.aspx, or just say zip and contains if you want to use, and just hit apply and bam. Now what you have done in 2 seconds is really you've created a customized landing page report only for the pages that contain that particular URL. And you have applied your organic search segment and you have what you want. So it's a very simple process. Do the 2 things. It's really cool. I think that not a lot of people use this feature in the advanced table filtering at the bottom in order to do their analysis. I was just doing analysis of all my branded keywords that get me conversions greater than 50%.
And you were able to use the filters.
In 2 seconds, I have the
fast.
data. So that's really a great way to go.
Great.
Oh, here's a good one. My favorite. Well, it used to be my favorite report, site overlay.
Oh, it's your favorite.
And it comes from IB.
Your favorite to make fun of or to actually use for analysis? Okay.
For analysis.
Okay.
And IB from Fort Lauderdale, Florida says, the site overlay report is not showing transaction, goal, or revenue data. Oh my. Even the data is in the regular analytics reports. How exactly does analytics extract the transaction data for the site overlay report to use, and how can he or she get it to show up next? So what's up? What's going on here?
Yeah, it's tricky. So all site overlay does is it creates a report and it looks at all the URLs. So we have a navigation report. It says for a particular page, where are all the next pages people went to? Right. You can look at the navigation summary. So it uses that exact report and says, for this page, what were all the next pages people went to? And give me all the URLs for that. And then give me, for those different URLs, give me the transactions, conversions, clicks, and so forth. So once we have that list and all the metrics, Google Analytics will go and get your page, render your page, and it'll go through all the links on your page and find the next pages that match our report. And then if we match, we show a little pretty box and it overlays. If we don't match, you don't see it.
Right.
So it's probably an issue where the report that we're generating is not actually matching the link that's on your page.
Oh, I see.
And that's why it's breaking this.
Right. So it's the sort of the via track page views or something. So ideally in this case, they would probably get a GAC, one of our Google Analytics authorized consultants, to come help.
They can analyze. They can help analyze where points can be breaking in that whole flow, so that way you're not getting the data. And the other one, if you want a cursory information, is looking at the navigation summary, because it's very similar in terms of the type of data.
So look at the navigation summary report, or go get a GAC, and they can easily diagnose this issue.
Right. Definitely.
Great.
Great. So here's a question for you, Avinash.
Yeah.
And this is from Hideki in Japan.
Hello, Japan.
It's been really international.
Yes.
What's the difference between absolute unique visitors and unique visitors?
Oh, God.
Okay.
Yes.
I've been puzzled with the number of these metrics,
They're
which are not always equal to each other.
Oh, God.
I've been puzzled about the number of type of metrics that claim to do the same thing.
Goodness
The help doesn't make me understand the difference. Thanks in advance.
Well, Hideki, you're not alone. Let me just first say you're not alone. And I don't know how to say it in Japanese, but I would have said it in Japanese. You're not alone. So the metric that was traditionally available in Google Analytics was absolute unique visitors. And it was only available in one place, which is if you look at the dashboard that is available after you click on visitors, and you get a dashboard, that was the only place where you could see absolute unique visitors. And it was essentially the number of distinct persistent cookies in your of the visitors who came to your site, and it was roughly, but not really, but roughly close to the number of people who might have come to your site. That was the absolute unique visitors. But in last October, I think Anymetrics, I had announced that we have a much more robust functionality in Google Analytics to do unique visitor reporting in every report and everywhere, which we did not have before. This new metric was called unique visitor instead of absolute unique visitor. So, and this is the metric that is available to you when you go into custom reporting. It's actually not in any standard report. You have to go to custom reporting and you'll see it under the metrics available. You drag it, apply it on any report. It's one of my favorite metrics to use. So the answer to your question is, there is very slight difference between absolute unique visitors and unique visitors. And what we're going to do is take the absolute and deprecate it. We're going to send it away to a nice farm where it can live the rest of its life out. The unique visitor metric will be the one that will be available in Google Analytics everywhere. So please use the unique visitor metric. And the definition is simple. It's trying to count the distinct persistent cookies. Sorry for the technical things. But approximately the number of people who come to your website. So use unique visitor in custom reporting. And we apologize that at the moment you've got this funny other thing in the visitor dashboard, and we'll work on taking care of that.
And just to say one thing, this metric is very interesting. Most packages will do daily unique visitors.
Yes.
With custom reporting, you can have almost unlimited number of reports, right? You can have a certain page with a certain source of traffic, and so for each of these customizations of report, we'll recalculate the unique visitors.
I know.
You should definitely leverage that metric.
I like that. Yes, actually, some of the paid web analytics vendors will only provide you with daily, weekly, and monthly unique visitors. They are actually unable to provide you unique visitors across arbitrary dates or for, let's say, the last 4 months. You actually cannot get, even with the paid paid web analytics tools in the marketplace today, you cannot get that unique visitor number. You can with Google Analytics. And Nick will link to a post on my blog. It's called Standard Metrics Revisited Daily, Weekly, and Monthly Unique Visitors. And that'll teach you more about the unique visitors and how they work. But that's a good point, Nick. Thanks for adding it.
Yeah, definitely.
Here's one from New York and Aaron. Nick, for you. A simple one. It says, how do we get the homepage entrance values to be aggregated? Now my visits are being reported separately on a / and /index.php. So this is the admin config.
Right. In the admin config for Google Analytics, you could specify your default page. Right. So if your server, when you go to a /, if the server will just by default go to the index.php page, you can define that in Google Analytics, and we'll dedupe those different reports. Right.
So just go to admin settings and you can take care of this. Here's one of my
this is one of your favorite ones here. Yeah. So this is from Zacho in Boulder. I'm making an advanced segment for visitors who spend more than 20 minutes on my site. So that's a long time.
Oh, those are loyal people. I don't know what you have on your site.
Like really good videos. We got to check out the site. I use this time on site metric with a condition greater than 20.
Yes.
When I run this segment, I see average time on site for my segment is 8 minutes. Right, so how is this possible? Let us know.
It's magic.
Right.
Well, Zach, you're making a mistake that I personally made as well. Like, probably correct. Still keep doing it without knowing it. But when you go into advanced segmentation, which, by the way, is the right thing to do there, and you are writing 20 in the greater than. You're using minutes. Google Analytics Advanced Segmentation actually uses number of seconds, not minutes. So you would do 20 times 60, and the resulting number is the one you would put into the advanced segment. And then Google Analytics will pick only the sessions where the average who spend more than 20 minutes on your website, and fingers crossed the average you'll see will be greater than 20.
And it depends on the content. Right? We don't have a link, so we can't tell.
But it's a very simple mistake. I think you're just putting time in minutes when you should be putting time in seconds. It's a simple one, Zach, but a good one. We should upgrade GA to provide some helpful hints in advanced segmentation.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
So Zach won't have problems like this. So that's a good question.
Great.
We also got a feature request from Mark in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So Mark, thank you very much for your feature request. We'll pass it on to the team. But with that, we've reached the end of a whirlwind episode of Web Analytics TV. Hopefully you all had fun. Please go back to the blog post where this video is posted. Click on the link for the moderator so you can submit a question for the next episode. And the rest of you who don't have questions to submit, please look at the questions already submitted and vote on them, because we only we answer questions based on the priority and your votes. So please go ahead and do that. But with that, happy analytics.